Hello everyone. Today we're going to make a reaction to Geography Now Spain. Since we did yesterday Hungary, now let's do Spain. Tomorrow will be France, and then Portugal, and then Italy.
All right, Spain.
Spain.
I don't really have to say much. We've
Well,
all heard of this
everybody
country,
on the
along with
poll,
France
which
and
one to
Italy.
move
It's one
out,
of the few
everyone wanted
powerhouse
me to
Latin
move
countries of
out
Europe. Portugal, we love you, man.
Spain.
You're cool and awesome, but let's be real. You're kind of like the mini boss before the. Okay, I'll just stop right there. Anyway,
Alright
over
then.
500 million people across the world speak Spanish, and if you include the
Um,
mestizos, a huge chunk of that population have actual descendants and ancestors from Spain. So it's not just language; it's also like genetically.
My
Spain
name is
got big
also
genes,
in
made a
Spanish.
big family across
Spanish
the world. In any
for
case, welcome to the original kingpin of
for
the Hispanic
meaning
world, Spain.
mountain.
It's time to learn geography now!
Hey everybody, I'm your
Alright,
host Barbs.
let's
Don't
learn
forget to
about
get Geography
Spain.
Now merch at geographynow.com. So Spain, everything from the freezing glaciers of
Alright.
Patagonia to the freezing glaciers of Alaska have
Alright.
at some point been imprinted upon by the notorious Spanish seal. And of course,
Alright
it's
then.
always great to have people from the country in the country.
Okay, we have
episodes like
also
that.
Spanish
Here's
Empire.
Jose and Anna. Say hi to them.
Hello, everyone.
Whoa.
Hi.
All right, so where are you guys from?
I'm Anna, and I'm from Valencia.
I'm Jose, and I'm from Catalonia, from a town called Blanes.
Uh-oh, Valencia, Catalonia. What's going on? Something about paella. We'll talk about that later. All right,
Alright
so
then.
shall we comenzamos?
No.
No? Well, I'll make it up to you guys with some cervezas.
Not close.
Okay. Sí, I got it. Okay.
Oh my god, you're lucky we're here, because if not, you will be f***ing it up all the time.
Okay, let's learn.
This is so interesting. This is the first time I've had two hosts on the show at the same time. Like, we're all like
Kind
bumping
of
into each other.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Now, we've covered a lot of countries that have loose forms of administrative division within their political regions, but with Spain, I kind of see it
Alright
like a
then,
teacher with a
and
really rowdy
I'm
classroom.
probably moving
It's
out
like,
to Spain in the future.
Galicia! Hey, you stop talking to Portugal. Basque and Navarre, I don't know what you're talking about. Rioja, you stop drinking wine. Extremadura, do you even exist? Valencia, hey, you stop burning everything right now.
Catalonia's trying to jump out the window.
What? Oh, dare you little...
No, but for real, the people in Spain just know who they are and they own it.
And with that, let's go to the animation.
All right, Spain is
Alright.
located in Western Europe, taking up about 82% of the
Okay.
Iberian Peninsula, shared with Portugal to the west, the Bay of
Alright.
Biscay to the north, and to the south, subsections of the Mediterranean,
Alright.
known as the Balearic and Alboran
Alright then.
Seas, and inland, the Pyrenees Mountains separate them from France and Andorra.
Alright,
Keep in
this
mind,
could
they
be the
even have this
thumbnail.
small little exclave
Alright.
in France called Evia, cut off by
Alright
about
then.
1.6 kilometers of space to the Spanish border on the N154 highway. Up north on the Bidasoa River, Spain also shares an island with France called Isla de los Faisanes, or Pheasant Island, in which the sovereignty switches every 6 months. Those aren't the only countries that border them, though. In the southeast, by La Linea de la Concepcion, you find this peninsula, Gibraltar, which is actually an
Gibraltar.
overseas territory of the UK that they
It's
have
in
had
UK.
since 1713 with the Treaty of Utrecht. In addition, Spain also has the Plazas de Soberanía, or strongholds of sovereignty, historical places
It's close
in
to
northern
Algeria by
Africa
the
that date
sea,
back to the
but
inception of
borders
modern Spain in the
Morocco.
15th century, and they hold on to. They
It's the
include
only
two exclave
European country
autonomous
that
cities
borders.
of Ceuta and Melilla, which are effectively attached to Morocco. In addition, there are also 8 other islands and one peninsula known as Peñón de Vélez de la Gomera. The peninsula is divided by a 100-meter wide sand bridge, which makes it one of the shortest international borders in the world. From there, Spain also has 2 main archipelagos, the Canary Islands off the coast of Morocco, and
Alright
again,
then.
of course, the Balearic Islands in the Mediterranean. Due to the positioning of the Canary Islands, this gives Spain 2 time zones, UTC 0 and +1. With that, Spain breaks down a little interesting. The country is classified as a decentralized unitary state in which, although sovereignty is vested in one nation, the regional institutions hold their own high degree of self-governance and have their own parliaments and presidents. These 17 entities are called autonomous communities, or autonomies in short. Ceuta and Melilla are categorized as autonomous cities and have the right to become communities, but so far have not expressed interest in doing so. The capital and most populous city and highest capital in Europe is Madrid, in the center of the
Madrid.
country. Like, literally it is. There's even a floor plaque called the Puerta del Sol, which serves as kilometer zero for all the roads and train networks that radiate outwards from the central hub. And of course, Madrid holds the biggest and busiest airport, Adolfo Suarez Madrid Madrid Barajas International. From there, the second largest city is Barcelona on the Mediterranean coast, where the
Barcelona.
second busiest airport can be found. Barcelona.
Ah,
Prat
right, there's a
International. From
football
there, the busiest
Barcelona
shipping port is
team.
the port
I
of
have the hat.
Algeciras Bay, where over
And
100
Real
million
Madrid
tons
as
of cargo
well.
pass annually. Finally, fun fact, some
And
parts of
there's
Spain are actually
Zaragoza here.
antipodes of New Zealand, which means they are literally located exactly across the entire planet from each other.
So, fun fact, Canary Islands are not named after canaries, but rather dogs, because of the Latin can,
Which means dog.
what means
Can
for
means
example.
dog in line.
That was marginally interesting.
Now, we're not going to dive too much into it because it would take forever, but
Why
Alright
so
then.
many autonomies? Well, historically, Spain had a few major kingdoms before they unified. And this is basically how they separate places that either have a very distinct people
Alright.
group versus places that
Alright then.
are more in sync with Madrid's centralized power.
and speaking of which it's forced, Spain is a monarchy. Yes, one of the 12 monarchies of Europe.
Monarch.
Basically, most people will say
Well, most of Latin,
Isabella de Castile married Ferdinand of Aragon, unifying
Italy,
the two biggest powerhouses of
Portugal,
the
and
People
France,
that kinda
Italy
pissed off
have
the Pope because they were second
presidents.
cousins and did not dispensate their
No.
marriage, which led them to cursing the Spanish people for all eternity. But then they waited for the next pope and he dispensated their marriage. So anyway,
The point is, after millennia of going through the Phoenicians, Romans, the Suevi, whatever those guys were, Vandals and Alans, Visigoths, the Moors, and Umayyads, modernish Spain started to take shape in the 1400s with a Reconquista, or reconquering.
And from there, the story gets crazier.
how
Alright then.
so? You sure you're not bored with all this history stuff?
Normally I would be, but all the pictures and the fast meta talk holds my attention and makes me think I'm learning.
Thank you for revealing my script writing structure. But anyway, fine, if you insist. After the Reconquista, the sexy Habsburgs slipped into the royal family because that's what they did
Never mind.
throughout everybody in Europe.
And when their line ended, the House of Bourbon, a French dynasty slipped in. And here we are today with Philippe VI and his daughter, Princess Leonor, next in line.
In any case, Spain is a travel hotspot. They are literally the second most visited country on earth after France, with more than
Well,
83
tomorrow I
million
will be
people
reacting
as of
to France.
2019.
It's important to know that Spain has third highest number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites at 48. The autonomy of Andalusia has the most at 7.
Now we all know some of the obvious UNESCO sites like the Alhambra, the Great Mosque of
Alright.
Cordoba, the Guggenheim, the Sagrada Familia Church.
Which has been under construction for like 130 years. It would take way too long to cover all the UNESCO sites, but here's a list of some non-UNESCO sites you guys suggested we mention in the episode. The Royal Palace in Madrid,
Centenil de las Bodegas,
Valencia's Arts and Science District.
theme parks like Portaventura and Parque Warner and Texas Hollywood.
the Canary Islands have pyramids,
Hollywood,
mummies,
Warner,
and the
right,
Latin statue.
like
The
Warner
Golden
Bros.
Mushroom Thing,
Looney Tune
Seville,
characters.
Metropole,
I'm not
Brussels.
sure there's
Madrid claims to
Batman.
have the oldest continuously operating restaurant in the world.
Cadiz is the oldest city.
And fake Germany, Mallorca, and fake UK, Ibiza.
And so on. Yeah, that list doesn't
Thank
even
you,
give
Finn,
Spain
Finn,
justice because it's
Germany.
not even a small fraction of the big picture. One part of that picture, though, is the landscape and resources. Which brings us to
Physical geography.
So, since Spain has territories in Africa, the ocean, and Europe, it's transcontinental, so we have like many different landscapes.
Like, we even have a restaurant that cooks food over an active
El
volcano.
But
Diablo.
we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's go to the animation.
First of all,
Excuse
for the
me.
continental
Alright then.
part, the country is incredibly mountainous. In fact, the second most mountainous country in Europe after Switzerland. The country has 6 main ranges: the Betic chain in the south, the Central and Iberian chains in the center, the Cantabrian and Leon chains in the north, and the Pyrenees in the northwest,
Alright
with the
then.
border of France and Andorra. In the center, you have the Meseta Central Plateau, a wide
Alright then.
highland that stretches wide across the interior. As you can clearly see from space, the northern part
Alright
of
then.
Spain has the most lush green
Alright
wet
then.
zones, and as you head south, the country obviously gets more dry and arid. In fact, Spain has the only true desert of mainland Europe, the Tabernas Desert, located in Andalusia, which holds the highest temperatures of mainland Europe at over 40 degrees Celsius in the summer.
Alright.
These mountains are essentially a byproduct of Spain being located right at the confluence of the African and Eurasian tectonic plates, creating a slew of minor rifts and fault lines. This means the southern part of Spain may occasionally experience earthquakes above 6 on the Richter scale, and certain areas mostly along the Mediterranean have extinct volcanoes. The most active volcanic area of the country, though, would actually be the Canary Islands, which lie on an interplate volcanic region on the African plate. Geologists mostly agree that the islands were created by the plates moving over a mantle hotspot, which bubbled up out of the ocean, much like how the Hawaiian Islands were formed. Speaking of islands, the highest point of the country isn't even on the Iberian Peninsula, but rather the Canary Islands, part of the larger subregion known as Macaronesia, with Mount Teide, which is actually the third highest volcano
Not
in the world from its
Macaronesia,
base.
right.
Back to the mainland, though, the highest mountain on continental Spain would be Mulhacén, at nearly
Mulhacén.
3,500 meters high. From there, the longest river, shared with Portugal, is the Tagus or Tejo. However, the longest river entirely in Spain is the Ebro. Now, most of the inland bodies of water are reservoirs blocked up by dams on rivers. However, the largest natural freshwater lake would be Lake Sanabria in the northwest. Finally, Spain has 3 main climate zones on the continental part. The areas in the south have a warm, dry Mediterranean climate. The central Meseta Plateau has hot summers and cold winters. And the North Cantabrian Mountains have a maritime climate with the most rain year-round and snowfall in the winter.
So an extra side note, after Malta, Spain is the sunniest country in Europe, like 260 days a year.
That's hot.
Yeah, that's hot.
Now, with all these rugged lands, Spain hosts a wide range of flora and fauna, differing by region.
For example, the Canary Islands, you have the black sand beaches and the ancient tropical Lora Silva. It's only found in Macaronesia.
Otherwise, on the peninsula, you have everything ranging from green hills that
North.
look like Scotland in the north.
To the shrubby, rocky
South.
Arizona-like deserts of the south.
Within these wide-ranged zones, you have tons of natural treasures like caves, canyons, and even a river that flows orange and red.
Agriculture-wise, they are the second largest producer of wine after Italy, and the largest producer of olive oil in the world.
Oh, and fun side note, when they cook, only about 40% of Spanish homes have direct gas lines installed, and the rest usually have gas tanks delivered, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
bombonas. Now, we all know that despite having the 13th largest nominal GDP in the world, Spain has had quite a reputation for its rather, how can I put this?
Recessive tendencies? Yes, during the financial crisis, Spain was hit hard for about 6 years during 2008, and in 2014, they reached the height at about 27.2% unemployment.
There are a lot of factors that went into this, but it kind of went,
How can we grow our economy?
we need to build a lot of stuff.
Okay. What's the problem?
That's all.
What if we just let the banks report what they wanted and not regulate them as much?
That's a great idea. Nothing could go wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
And it did. Perfect storm. And due to this lack
All
of
right, then.
accountability, experts speculate that somewhere upwards to 1/5 of the total GDP is somehow tied in with the
All right, then.
undisclosed transaction industry, black market, second only to Italy.
No proud of that.
You guys probably have a lot to say about that.
Italy.
Guys, Spain
Galicia.
is known for being the main port of entry for the European cocaine trade.
A fun little fact, did you guys
Spain
know
and
that
Italy
over
are
90% of euros that are
Or
transacted in Spain
I
are
mean,
traced
have
back to
similar
Spain.
languages. I mean,
90? Like
Over
90?
Portuguese-
90%, yes.
Portuguese
They're
is very
studying
similar too.
Valencia's science.
2008. I was
Anyway,
born
off of
2008.
that,
Spain is the 5th largest
Excuse
producer
me.
of wind
Alright.
energy in the world.
We even have the world's
Alright.
largest renewable energy operator, Iberdrola.
We are the 8th largest automobile producer in the
Because
world, and
this-
2nd largest manufacturer in Europe after
Car-
Germany.
We even
Sweet.
have some of the domestic brands like Seat.
which is actually a
Shit.
subsidiary of Volkswagen, but let them have that one.
and the
Volkswagen.
incredibly rare
Volkswagen
and
owns
exotic
Seat.
expensive GTA
Seat.
Stana.
What else is rare in this country? Some of the animal species. And with that, here's Gary Harlow to explain.
Right, Scary Harlow here. In Europe, Spain and Italy usually rank in the top 2 regarding biodiversity. I mean, they've got tropical forests to desert, so there's lots of wildlife real estate. The country hosts 16 national parks, the largest one being the Sierra Nevada in the south. Like Portugal, they share the same type of famous Iberian animals
Alright,
here,
then.
like the Spanish ibex and the wild boar.
Alright.
However, they're known for the Spanish Big Five: the bearded vulture, the Iberian lynx, the Iberian wolf, the imperial
Alright, then.
eagle, and the Eurasian brown bear.
Alright.
The national animal, however, is a bull. Some
Bull.
might say the Hispanic lion. Some historians claim that they might have inhabited southern Europe. It's in dispute. Lots of reptiles are endemic too, especially on the island regions. The Canary Islands have about 5 native species of gecko. Blah, 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 blah. That was a very good impression of a gecko. Otherwise,
Alright,
as a
then.
country that's in the path of
Alright, then.
migratory birds from Africa to southern Europe, there's over 630 bird species. Speaking of migration, I've got to migrate out here, fading into the distance.
Thanks, Gary. Now we're about to talk about the
Alright,
food
then.
of Spain, but before we do, you have to understand there's a few things. What is food culture in Spain to you guys? What does that mean? What does it entail?
Every meal kind of blends into the following meal.
Next one. There's like a whole system, right? It starts with breakfast, with some churros
Well,
and chocolate,
Santa
and then-
Claus lives
have
in
un
Spain
aperitivo.
And then you have lunch,
and-
lunch
and
normally
uses a
ends
ship
at
or a boat
what we call
to get to
sobremesa, that is
Netherlands in
like
Christmas.
just talk.
In
stay at the
Netherlands,
table.
but
And you stay at the table. You don't have to go
Um,
off the bar. or even
anyways,
during
I
a
was
walk.
also want to
Yeah.
know.
Merienda, which is a little snack we have in the afternoon before dinner.
So that's why we have dinner
Alright,
at
then.
10 p.m.
it just keeps going.
Never,
You
stop. Never stop.
We eat and then eat again and then maybe go, dancing or something.
But while you're dancing, you also eat. You gotta do flamenco with some.
Probably. Fun fact: Spain is one of the countries in the world that has more bars per citizen.
And you can even get beer at McDonald's, right?
Yes.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that was so impactful when I came here.
Anyway, and with that, here's some food stuff with guess who's back? Noah.
Boo! Prior to the 15th century, Europeans had no idea that things like chocolate, corn, tomatoes, potatoes, avocados, and sugar even existed. Through the Spanish trade routes, the rest of the world was introduced to these items, and now you can have things like pizza and fries. Great items. In any case, every region of Spain
Pizza
has a
was made
different
in
style of
Nepal,
cuisine, and the
southern
gastronomy is
Italy,
top-notch, world
and fries were
renowned. We don't have time
invented
to explain them
in
all, but some
Belgium.
dishes you guys, Spanish geography, so that every Spaniard will most likely have access to include things like gazpacho, torreznos, churros, croquetas, bachazo, cochinillo, arroz a la zamorana, hornazo, jamón, fideuá, cocido, and tortilla. This is not the same as a tortilla in Latin America, though. This is a potato and egg dish. And probably the most world-renowned dish, paella, originated in Valencia, and they are strict with the way that it is made. They hate it when this happens.
Hey, can I have some of that paella? I've heard so much about it.
Yeah, sure. It comes with extra mussels and shrimp, because that's paella.
It does?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure, whatever, just take it.
The true way to make it is either with rabbit or chicken. Otherwise, Valencians will call all the imposters arroz con cosas, or rice with things. Well, that's all I got for you today. Until next time.
Don't eat a paella in Madrid or Barcelona. But to eat the real one, go to Valencia. And probably after this, many people is going to want to kill me. I just buried myself.
Fun fact, sherry was also invented here, as was the Molotov cocktail, which played a huge role in the Spanish Civil War. Let's talk about the Spanish people now, shall we?
Excuse me for that.
Now, as I mentioned, there's a lot of different types of people
I
in
quickly
Spain,
censor that.
and they all kind of have their own thing going on.
In a way, we have this kind of quiet acknowledgement that unity doesn't mean uniformity.
What do you guys think? Like, do you guys generally get along?
Yes, but
Yes?
yes, there's like these stereotypes, things that he probably is this way because he's from this place, or he's probably you know.
I'll say when I've met Spanish people outside of Spain, we all love Spain and love everyone. It's just when we're in Spain, we love to, talk to each other.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that, let's talk about the people of Spain in the graph. First of all, Spain has about 48 million people and is the fifth most populous country in Europe and has the highest life expectancy in the OECD countries. The country is made up predominantly by people that identify as native Spaniard at about 88%.
Spaniard.
Keep in mind this
I'm not
label
sure
is
if
very
I'm
broad
Spaniard
and
or
pretty much
my
refers to a wide range
entity,
of people with different physical traits, but
or my
mostly the
heritage
South
from the
European
Spanish-speaking
Mediterranean
nation due to
background
my
and racial
name.
makeup. Geneticists also have determined that the average Spaniard, especially in the South, has around 5% North African ancestry due to the Moorish conquests that took over the country for 7 centuries. The remaining 12% of the country is made up of various immigrant groups that have settled over the centuries, the largest ones being Latin Americans at about 5%, North Africans and Eastern Europeans at about 2% each, and the remaining 3% from other places around the world like Asia and whatever.
Morocco,
So the official
even.
language of Spain
Excuse
is,
me.
shocker, Spanish, but specifically Castilian or Castellano Spanish.
Yeah, of course we
Español, Castillo.
have Spain Spanish dialect, which sounds a bit different than Latin American Spanish.
Now keep in mind, most Latin American Spanish is heavily influenced by the Andalusian dialect of Spanish, as many people from those areas moved and migrated to the Americas. Long story short, what's the easiest way to piss off a Spaniard?
Vale, voy a empezar mi nuevo proyecto en mi nuevo ordenador. Elige el idioma inglés, no. Francés, no. Español. ¿Alguien me puede explicar por qué está español con la bandera mexicana? ¿Alguien podría explicarme por qué? Porque el español de Europa es súper confusing.
Hey, it's not Mexico's fault they became a big deal in the Hispanic world.
Anyway, on top of that, despite Spanish being the national language, they have 3 other regionally co-official languages that are allowed to be publicly used and published alongside Spanish.
So we have Catalan, Galician, Basque. But Basque is a language, like it's its own. Historically, no one knows where it comes from and doesn't have anything to do with Latin or any other language.
There's also other minority Romance languages like Asturianese and Aragonese, but very few people speak them. And they don't
one
really
part,
consider
the
officiate
English
them.
is
And there's
spoken from
other
one
languages
part,
like
and
Ladino,
the
spoken by the
as we
Sephardic
mentioned
Jewish
earlier,
community.
Coolest language
that's part
fact,
of
though, is that on
Italy.
the island of Gomera in the
La
Canary
Gomera.
Islands, they use Silbo Gomero, which is taught in
Silbo
schools.
Gomero.
It's a language completely composed of whistles. Here's a clip if you want to hear some.
I didn't know that.
You didn't even know that. Yeah, wow, we're all learning. Yeah, we could talk about language stuff in Spain all for hours. It's crazy, but we gotta move on.
Historically, the Catholic faith played a huge role in our identity, despite the fact that today only about 2/3 of the country, to some degree, might say that they are very less nominally identify as Catholic. And the rest of the 20% of the population goes to church.
But for what it's worth, we have the Camino de Santiago, one of the
Right.
largest Catholic pilgrimages in the world.
The interesting thing, though, is that there is noticeable traces of Moorish Arabic influence as well. Everything from architecture and even the names of cities, for example, if they start with Al.
It's even how Andalusia got its name from the Arabic Al-Andalus, and today there's even noticeable words borrowed from Arabic in the Spanish language, like tata or azúcar.
Now, in regards to Spain's impact on the world, it's nothing short of massive. At one point, we had 35 colonies across the world.
And today there are
Even
19
Philippines.
sovereign Spanish-speaking countries, plus Puerto Rico, that all have a story rooted from Spain.
Yeah, you guys have a long history of Latin America. What do they think of Spanish people?
They love Europe in general. It's like, oh, Europe. So I don't know. But at the same time, they have some other thoughts about that, like we are lazy.
Or a lot of people, especially in South America, that think of us as very structured, or like what Spanish people think of Germans almost.
Exactly.
Which is really weird for us.
So they kind of think you guys are like the Germans of the Hispanic world.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then in Europe we are like
Bankrupt.
Not that.
Generalizing. But in regards to Spain's, impact on the world, yes, we've heard the stories. Colonialism was riddled in lots of tragedy. Many wars and battles were fought. Many died. Diseases were spread. No denying these terrible historical incidents. But, and this might be one of the most hard pill to swallow, controversial things I'll ever say in this show, given the current social climate that we live in. But you have to kind of see colonialism in all vantage points throughout its manifestation.
Okay.
In a weird way. Many of the
This
things
will
that
be
you
teaching
hold
my
dear today,
audience,
people that
so
you admire,
since
and the ideas
I wanted
that
some
rule the world,
educational
they
here
have
of
never
geography
come
now
about with ties
because
to colonialism too. It's a
I
weird
don't know what
paradox of
to.
chronological exchanges throughout history. I mean, for example, the wheel and beasts of burden, like horses and camels, were brought over to the Americas. Remember in the Peru episode, we explained how the only domesticated animal that could remotely help carry cargo was the llama, and it could only carry like 80 pounds. Otherwise, people just kind of walked to get around. See, like that. History kind of has a weird way of showing you that nothing ever is completely what you think it is, and over time, it kind of evolves into something you probably never saw coming. Yes, everyone likes to condemn past tragedies, but you also have to acknowledge that it's possible for a rose to grow from concrete. Like the invention of the first artificial heart in Argentina to, I don't know, Vicente Fernandez and Shakira. That's my little brief postulation on the topic. Take it as you will. I'm just saying, see before you decree.
that was intense. I like that you said it.
In a way, it's
Sorry, I had to censor a little bit.
Today's standards, and that gets really tricky.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for years, and I know
Excuse me.
The Spanish people and our backstory have so many diverse layers.
And luckily, we made a video explaining all about those various groups and nationalities of Spain, so just check it out right here. Click on it.
Let's chill a little bit and have some fun. Let's talk. We also have art and sports and many other good things. So
Art with the sports part.
I am existing.
Here's your trophy.
This is my trophy for existing. I love it. But that's besides the point. All right, sports in Spain. So without saying much, most of you will automatically default to football. Yes, we all know that soccer is practically a religion in Spain. Their national team has qualified for the FIFA Cup 15
Well,
times.
Spain won the World Cup of 2026.
In 2010. And of course, everybody knows about the huge rivalry between Barcelona and Real Madrid. Which team are you on? But soccer is
I'm
everything.
probably both,
Fun
but I
fact,
will go
their men's roller hockey
Madrid.
team scored
Real
16
Madrid.
gold medals. Everybody knows Rafael Nadal's Wimbledon championship in 2008 and 2010. Their
Which is
national
2
basketball
years.
team has won 1 world and 2 Eurobasket championships. Aside from all the contemporary sports, Spain also has
They
a
won
rich
against
culture of
Argentina.
domestically produced sports. Everything from petanque to Canarian-style wrestling. I could fight a canary. I bet you I could beat it.
I don't know, man. Those things are fast.
The Basque Country, though, has the most native sports out of anywhere else in Spain. You have things like jayalai, stone lifting, hole drilling, wood chopping. That's my sport right there, wood chopping. In fact, Basque Country is where the running of the bulls happens. It's not really a sport, it's more of a festival, but they love it. And there's been 15 recorded deaths, but they still love
Since
it. And
1910.
finally, I know you were thinking about it. I was thinking about it. Spanish bullfighting, or corrida de toro. The sport dates all the way back to Roman times. Bullfighting is kind of seen as a performance art mixed with a sport. The matador attempts to subdue, immobilize, or kill the bull in the arena. The Arabs, the Catholics, the frickin' Bourbons, they all tried to ban it, but it kept coming back. In recent years, the sport has yet again been met with a lot of backlash. In fact, it was completely banned in Catalonia in 2010. Well, I'm gonna get out of here.
Well,
You know what?
Catalonia
I'm
banned.
proud of this trophy.
Thank you, Art.
Since Catalonia is actually
It's actually kind of funny
close to
considering that you guys have
France,
that whole
but
siesta culture thing. You guys are
borders,
known for being
and by
lazy,
the
like-
border,
Oh, come on.
since Spain
I
borders
haven't
France.
taken a siesta in 2 years.
Yeah, but that's because you live
Right
here.
then.
No,
Okay, I'm learning everything about
Also,
Spain.
siesta doesn't make you lazy.
I will also watch some Spanish-speaking, other Spanish-speakings, like from Latin Americans. In a
Well, speaking of stereotypes, what about the whole like
Know it?
nudity thing?
I thought that was
Excuse me.
something normal in the rest of the world. On the beach, on the beach. No one
Ex-
pays attention.
excuse me, then. I know that word is against the community guidelines, but this video is not a hate speech, it's educational video.
Alright, enough culture talk. Now we're gonna move on to Hannah. That's her segment. So
Alright.
now here's Hannah with culture stuff.
Hi guys, it is good to be back. And remember that you can get a Random Hannah t-shirt at geographynow.com. It has my face. It has my face on it, and it's better than Keith. Ernest Hemingway once said, "There is no nightlife in Spain. They stay up late and they get up late. That is not nightlife. That is delaying the day." Interestingly enough, they have one of the highest life expectancies in the world. Maybe night parties do the trick. In any
3
case,
years.
Spain has been a front runner in arts and literature. So many people like these have made internationally famous pieces of literature. None more famous than Miguel de Cervantes
Alright
and
then.
Don Quixote. In addition, so many world-renowned artists have come from Spain, including the Spanish Trinity, Pablo Picasso, Diego Velázquez, and Francisco Goya. He had some really dark works because he went deaf, and the Spanish Inquisition really hated it. But of course, you cannot forget Antoni Gaudi's architecture and surrealist Salvador Dali, literally buried in his own museum.
Literally my favorite artist of all time.
Spain is a hub of many inventions, such as the spacesuit, the stapler, the predecessor
Alright
to the
then.
helicopter,
Excuse
the
me, it's just
gyroplane,
my cat,
the
alright.
wheelchair, glasses, foosball, and the discovery of the elements tungsten, vanadium, and platinum. Now, just very quickly, let's talk about some cinema.
Excuse me.
Explore the political climate with movies like Pan's Labyrinth, which is actually a Mexican movie, but does explore some aspects of Spanish culture and the Spanish Civil War. Take a tour of a beautiful Basque country by watching the movie Ocho Apellidos Vascos. I hope I'm saying that right. Is that right?
Good enough.
You wanna
Well,
take a trip
Planet
back to the
51 is
Middle
also
Ages?
anime, a movie from the country, because it was made by a studio back in Madrid.
Like Antonio Banderas, Penelope Cruz, Javier Bardem. Anyways, you get the point. There is way too much film history to get into
I watched
right
few
now,
Planet
but if you
51
want more,
YTPs.
Watch Filmography Now, guys. The first official
Alright
channel
then.
of Geography Now.
Hannah has a spin-off.
And finally, Spain is the land of festivals. Literally, every day you can find something happening in some part of Spain. You've probably heard of La Tomatina, La
On
Paella,
Valencina,
April,
alright.
Semana Santa, and one thing that unifies the Spaniards is music. Unfortunately, Keith has made his way back from Florida to Los Angeles. I don't know what to do with myself. I thought he was gone forever, and he's freaking back. Taking
No,
the
and
music
then-
segment. You guys kind of like him, so here he is. Whatever. Have fun.
Then. Oh.
I'm back. I'm back in the studio. My segment kicks, not her segment. By the way, everybody, over the years, I've worn Rush shirts many times. Everybody knows Rush is my favorite band. Blah, 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 blah. Rush. Don't sue, whatever. Anyways, so
Alright
I'm
then.
back, and since I have such a love affair with guitars
Alright
and
then.
things with strings, especially G strings, haha, but the modern classical guitar was actually invented in Spain. This is actually a steel string. Spain is one of the very few countries that actually has no words in their national anthem. Each region of Spain actually has its own traditional style of music. The most well-known style of music
It's
that
flamenco.
everybody around the world probably knows is flamenco music. Predominantly founded in the southern region of Spain and mostly the city of Seville. Highly recommend checking out Paco de Lucia, who's a phenomenal flamenco guitar player. I would have to explain flamenco music as a fingerstyle.
I was born in
guitar.
Europe,
So, for example,
but not
said
from South
acoustic
America.
guitar, if you take these these three fingers and you anchor your thumb, you kind of do this motion here. You can also like use your right hand as a kind of more percussive. In addition, most regions in Spain actually have their own style of dance, which is called the jota. The rhythms in the dance either are 3/4 or 6/8. It's like 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. It's basically the same thing. It feels faster, but it's not actually faster. Eventually, after the fall of the dictatorship, you had a bunch of amazing musicians come out, such as Rocio Jurado, La Pantoja, Joaquin Sabina, Rosalia. She's won like a bunch of Grammys. I don't know. It's just like whenever I watch some like Latin soap opera or something, and I with the chick in the big dress, and he cheated on me, and then I'm just all like, whoa. So that's it for me, you guys. I would just like to say thanks to Paul Barbato for flying me out to here to LA.
So glad to have you back, Keith.
Oh my God, it's great to be back. Woo! I missed In-N-Out and all of the glorious fast food.
I've never been to In-N-Out.
All right, and with that, it's time to move on to the friend zone.
Let's learn about friend zone now, quickly.
All right, then. Anna, how do you feel about the way how Spain interacts with the rest of the world?
Because of the language, I feel like we might feel closer to Latin American countries for the most part.
People think that we are not that good at English. And okay, I probably have shown in this video that I'm not that good at English. I'm sorry, I just had a long day, okay?
You're doing great, you're doing great.
It's harder for us because we come from a Latin language.
Yeah.
So a German person is going to be able to understand and learn faster English than us. So
obviously Spain has a huge impact on the world. So first off, of course, in Africa, it's interesting. The area of Western Sahara used to be a Spanish colony, which is now de facto run by Morocco, but with a dispute with the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic. Although Spain has never formally recognized the SADR, Spain does host a noticeable community of Sahrawi people on the Canary Islands. And on top of that, the whole Ceuta and Melilla thing kind of irks Morocco just a bit, to say the least. Nonetheless, they try to keep things cordial, and every new prime minister usually makes a trip to Morocco for their first diplomatic mission abroad. Otherwise, they have very close relations with their former colonies. The closest probably being Argentina, as they have the largest diaspora of Spaniards outside of Spain with almost 500,000. And it's well known throughout the Latin world that Argentina probably has the biggest crush on Spain, so the more they get time with them, the better.
There's also
Cuba
Mexico.
and Venezuela are high up on the list too, Cuba being the last American colony to gain independence, and they have always been fond of Spain's values. Venezuela specifically has very close ties to the Canary Islands. They even speak almost with the exact same accent, and half of everybody on the islands have friends or family in Venezuela. Back to Europe though, Andorra is like the Beverly Hills where the Spaniards move when they hit it big and want to hide their money. However, if we're gonna get really personal, Portugal is like the little brother they have shared every moment of their history with, and they love to see him try. Like whenever Portugal accomplishes anything, Spain is their #1 cheerleader. Like Spain knows they are 4 times bigger and have a way heavier socioeconomic impact on Europe and the world. So of course, let adorable Portugal have a Ronaldo or Magellan. They deserve some spotlight. Spain can't have it all. When it comes to their best friends, however, literally almost every single Spaniard I have talked to has said the same country, Italy. It's no shocker. When a Spaniard and Italian meet, there's also Mexico. Connection. They just share the same South Latin vibe and code of conduct that goes back millennia to the Roman Empire. They can easily learn each other's languages. They approve of the other's food and music. They both laugh at stories of crazy dictatorships and underground mafia drama over a glass of wine. In the end, evidently, Spain and Italy are the kings and queens of South Europe. All right, and in conclusion, I think you guys should take it away. I'm out.
We are welcoming, and the cool thing about Spain is like you have many different cultures within the same country, so you can live completely different experiences. We like to party. I'm not gonna say no. We love that because we are social people. I think that's something that we need.
A lot of those things I took for granted being in Spain, the rich diversity or welcoming nature. And once I moved out, which more than 10 years ago, that's when I really started realizing how lucky we are to be from Spain. Yeah, have some real paella.
Real.
Oh my God!
Thank you guys so much for being in this episode. And with that, stay tuned. Sri Lanka.
Goodbye.